Connor, and we're going to get into our third quarter, which is to talk all about college football. Um, I would just like to silently take a moment to appreciate that college football is back. For those that don't know, Rutledge, why do you love college football so much? And I really think if I look back on all the moments in sports, where did I love it the most? What made me the happiest? I will always remember my first blown away by college football moment, and that was the first time I walked into Williams-Brice Stadium as a high schooler, just moved from Canada, never been to college football, and the people we were with said, "You want to see something? Take a look at that." And he pointed out at the parking lot in front of Willie B, which is of course the Carolina Fairgrounds. Tons of cars, massive amounts of people wearing garnet and black, people crowing, people yelling "Go Cox," everything that made a South Carolina football game beautiful. And that, oh man. Do we go third and 3? No, we are going to decline. And that is 4th and 1. Kick me the ball. But that was the moment I fell in love with college football. The pageantry, the tradition, the love, the true love that everyone has for their city, their state, and it just feels so good to have it back. It feels so good to talk about college football at work. It feels so good to see people wearing their team. And it feels so good to have it back, especially living in the South. But I digress. What we love most is when it explodes. Some massive moments that happen, including the huge upset loss of Oregon traveling to the Horseshoe and beating Ohio State. Last week we thought Ohio State looked incredible, looked unstoppable, and then the University of Oregon Ducks come in with the upset. Ohio State goes down at home. They haven't lost at home in a long time. Ryan Day's team looks questionable, and while the polls didn't explode, it really sort of changes the landscape of what you kind of think the season's going to look like. Because not only with that, not only did Ohio State lose, that exact same night Michigan beat a not very good Washington team, but still had a very good showing at home on a national stage. So the overreaction alert here on French Stream Sports is the shape of the Big 12 is changing. Huge overreaction alert. We all know the Big 12 is not changing. It is still Ohio State's conference to lose. While they did get into the playoffs in some weird sort of Big 12, you go play, move. Oh, that was almost a pick. It's already 3 and out. Ohio State losing. They did what they did in college football, which is what I call losing early. They lost early to a team that could do a lot better. Oregon could run the table, could stay undefeated, and do really, really well. So this doesn't harm or destroy them, but it also doesn't change them. Did I get a ding? Oh, ding. Steven dishes the ding. I said Big 12 instead of Big 10. Wow. Okay. Speaking of Big 12, the Big 12 team leaving Texas got smacked by Arkansas, who Arkansas has a sub-tier SEC program. And if I was a Texas fan and I saw what happened, now give it. Steve Sarkisian is new. Of course, we know he's not going to do very well in his first year, as he's still got to go through and sort of unclog everything that was there, right? And he did. We have to remember that until his issues that he had at the University of Southern California, Sarkisian did very well at Washington. He really worked that program, and he was doing well at Southern California. So give him time. This is not saying that, this is not the comparison of Jacksonville, excuse me, with Urban Meyer. But it's very looming to watch them lose to Arkansas the way that they were handled, to where Arkansas hasn't done well in the SEC for a very long time. It goes back to a long time SEC debate that the SEC conference is just better and other teams are not able to compete and hang even though they think they are. I have seen that video. So for all of you that don't know, Steven dropped it in the chat today, and he said there's a funny SEC short skit where Texas snuck into the SEC office to shred their conference application to join the SEC. I have seen that video, and that's how it felt. Excuse me. I think it was hilarious. But as that goes, I think this is more of a testimony. It's a bigger testimony to the state of Texas program is not ready to be fully integrated into the SEC yet. They're going to need that time, and it's not them that's the power move. While, you know, they have the Big Ten, they have the Longhorn Network, and, you know, they're a big name school. And we all remember when they beat USC in the Rose Bowl with Vince Young and Mac Brown. They're not a power school right now. They're kind of an underrated program with a lot of Nike money. Those two linebackers just did the same animation. Both times. Thank you for picking up the blitz. So that's a massive story. I also want to point out one thing my wife loves, and one thing that makes her enjoy football season is when sad fans are sad. If you hadn't seen the clip of the cheerleaders for Florida State as the Jacksonville State player catches the walk-off touchdown, you need to go look it up. I feel bad for Florida State for losing to Jacksonville State. You know, a small school beating a big school is always a little disappointing, but as a small school beating a big school, it always feels so good. Go back to when Georgia Southern beat the University of Florida. Outside of that, college football has been wild. Of course, we know Clay Helton was fired at USC. The overreaction hires say Urban Meyer should walk away from Jacksonville and go take that job and go back to college football where he belongs. That is a hot take we don't have time for. As this quarter closes, I want to round out what the top 6 are in college football. We'll always talk about the top 6, but your top 6 teams, no surprise here. We have Bama, the University of Georgia, Oklahoma, followed behind by Oregon at number 4, and then Iowa, and then Clemson. Iowa with that big win over Iowa State over the weekend, which everyone thought Iowa State was the bigger team. Clemson still hanging on, even though they have a loss to Georgia. They, of course, put up a lot of points against a very tiny South Carolina State, so I think 6 is a little high for them. But, good, you know, a little early poll never hurts anybody. What is DK Metcalf's superstar? Okay. Good to see that DK Metcalf got the superstar in Madden, that they're recognizing his talents. That right corner is just left wide open. Throw all the way down. But that was our third quarter. So college football, a lot of great things going on. This week there will be some great matchups. In the SEC alone, there's going to be there's 3 matchups I want to kind of point out. Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, and Penn State are all going on this weekend. We'll pick 2 of those later this evening. But I want to talk about now NFL. Week 1 is done. It ended last night with a wild ending in Vegas. The first live game with football fans in Vegas, which was great to see. I still want to go with Connor, as he's a Raiders fan. Maybe get a little bit of bottle service. Maybe have a little bit of a good time. Maybe pretend to watch the football game. I think it'd be really neat. I always said that is the ultimate guys trip, to be able to get to go and go to Vegas, and then at the end of it, you're going to like a Sunday football game. Steven, you're invited. Tell Kristen I said you could come. But the big storylines, and there are always winners and there are always losers in college football. And just like gambling, there are winners and losers. Well, one of the losers right now, and this one hurts, is, oh, that hurt. The block fell through and we lost at least 5 yards on that play. But the big one that hurts me is Ryan Fitzpatrick, known as Fitzmagic, who is one of the older quarterbacks rocking it out in the NFL right now. He got injured by... what happened on that play? He got injured during his first game, and he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. Fitzpatrick, in my opinion, was a great piece of Washington being a threat this year. And now that the Cowboys have really shown in Week 1 that they can hang, they needed him. So really sad to see that happen. I sort of bought into the preseason hype of Washington, but they're not going to have it. We've learned that Tom Brady must be going up to St. Augustine every other weekend from Tampa to go drink out of the fountain of youth because, goodness gracious, nothing can slow that man down. While he did throw a pick, he did do very well. Now, keep in mind, they did bring back all 22 starters in Tampa Bay, so that team is very much the same. Here's a good testimony. Tampa Bay in Madden 22 right now is the only over 90 rated team. Everyone else sits in the 80s. So, you know, of course, we'll see how those rosters update live week over week. But they're just, it's going to be one of those teams where it's like, go until you show me that we have to lose. Just very impressive of how good they are, how well put together they are. Remember last year I had a huge rant, life is not a video game. Well, the front office in Tampa has definitely changed that. Sorry, water. Long pause there. So, Tampa is definitely the team to beat. I don't know why we're calling this really deep prevent pass play in a 4-minute offense scheme when they have tons of time. Because our guys got outrun. We are not doing that again. The next team I want to bring up is Jameis Winston. Okay, Green Bay lost by like a lot to the Saints with a new quarterback for the first time ever, what felt like. I never even watched a New Orleans Saints game before Drew Brees got there. I don't even think I knew where New Orleans was. Well, at least who the Saints were. I know that sounds very bad as a football fan, but, you know, I was a child once who was a Seahawks fan only. But I never knew about the beauty that was the New Orleans Saints without Drew Brees, or lack of their beauty. And Jameis Winston comes out and has the best game of his career. His whole entire career. With a different coach. Alvin Kamara didn't really have a lot of amazing runs. And he just absolutely tears them apart. Against the team that, you know, a lot of us thought we were going to see in the Super Bowl last year. The Green Bay Packers. If it wasn't through some weird fourth down stuff, they were the ones that kept Tampa the most humble and looked like people. Jameis Winston came out and carved them like some brie cheese fresh out the oven with a butter knife. And there we go. That's how it's done. We are going to run this thing back. Go, go, go. And we are lagging a little bit, but we're gone. Boom. Interception, touchdown by the Seahawks. That was beautiful. Let's watch this replay. Carson Wentz throws at the pass. Intercepted by the middle linebacker. Oh, look. Launch. Grab. Bam. Steven, that's brilliant. Drew Brees should have his own line of brie cheese. Drew Brees cheese. Brees cheese. I missed this kick. Oof. Oof. I missed the heck out of that kick. It's 27-0 because I just missed a kick. It would be French Storm without missing a kick. So, Winston. Anyways, Jameis Winston carved up the Packers. Amazing. The game of the week that surprised me the most was not that the Browns didn't hold together with the Chiefs. They did okay. You know, obviously there was a fight on the sideline. We don't like that. But the big one was how well Arizona did against what was kind of like a sleeper favorite in the Titans. Titans last year got a lot of love. Tannehill. Now they've added in, oh, why do we have an injury? Now they've added in Julio Jones, and, you know, didn't have the massive game you thought they were going to have. Arizona looked a lot better than Tennessee did. That's why they won that game. Very surprised. Not very surprised, at least personally as a Seahawks fan, against the Colts, who, you know, we know are on the downhill, but Russell Wilson cooked on Saturday. They tore up Indianapolis. They looked great. So, just a lot of we either can keep you or we're going to sub in Bobby Wagner. We're going to sub in Bobby Wagner for our guy who's hurt. But as it goes, you know, a lot of great things we saw out of this week. Not a lot of surprises. I thought Kansas City and Cleveland was going to be a lot closer, but I do want to point out some games to watch through the week coming up. And these are ones that I looked at the schedule and said, huh, these are ones you need to kind of take some time. Here's why. The first one is going to be the Seahawks versus the Tennessee Titans. Are the Seattle Seahawks for real this year? Do they have a better team, and are they kind of returning to that Pete Carroll form that we haven't seen ever since Russell Wilson threw that interception in the end zone? They have been good, but they haven't been incredible. After that, you have, I also pulled an interesting game to watch this week. Is going to be the Cowboys versus the Chargers. Dak Prescott, who says he's a lot better this year, versus Justin Herbert, who has a healthy team. So how are those two teams going to stack up? I think this is going to be a great one to watch as a huge division matchup for the weekend. Make sure you're tuning into that one. The other game to pull, I have two more. The Chiefs play the Ravens. This is just sort of a match made in football heaven, as this is Sunday night. 8:20 kickoff on NBC. You know, obviously Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have seen a lot more success than the Ravens. The Ravens have a boom, another huge pick, and we dance. Yes. Seattle defense is cooking tonight. You know, Chiefs Ravens. Patrick Mahomes obviously has a lot more success than Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar Jackson was a more prolific college player at Louisville. That's why he won the Heisman. How are these two teams matching up? You know, is Baltimore for real? Oh, good save on this run. Or is Kansas City was that time where they played Cleveland just a good wake-up tuning call, and they're still as good as we thought they were? You got to wonder, because remember, in Andy Reid in Philadelphia, after some time, and even though they had some TO drama, they didn't do as well after their Super Bowl runs, and they sort of started to cool, which is why evidently he got fired. Last one I want to pull up is this Monday Night Football matchup. That's actually the Lions versus the Packers. And you could say, well, Rutledge, that's not a very exciting game. You're right. It is a very exciting game, actually, because now we're going to really see who is who in the Lions versus the Packers. Because at first it was going to be, on the schedule, the Packers will totally dominate this. They'll be unstoppable. Now as you look at it, you have two teams that both have some showing to them, so we're going to see who is going to be the true better team, the Lions or the Packers, and who's got a better shot to sort of rebuild their season after a really rough week one. This is my first shout out in Madden in a long time. Great job. Steven, thanks for coming out and watching us. Thanks everyone for listening to us on our podcast and following us on YouTube. Great evening. I want to end tonight with some picks. Steven, I would love to see you drop some picks in the comments. It's going to do 2 college games and 1 professional game. My first college game that I'm going to pick is Bama versus Florida. University of Alabama travels to Gainesville to play the University of Florida Gators in the Swamp. I'm going Alabama. I'm saying roll tide roll because give me a reason not to. Steven also says Bama. Next one, this is one of the big games of the weekend. Auburn versus Penn State. The Tigers go and take the War Eagle to Happy Valley. I am going to go Penn State over Auburn. Auburn, I think, always gets a little bit overrated, so I'm definitely picking Penn State over the Auburn Tigers. And then my NFL game of the week is the Dallas Cowboys versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Steven goes Auburn just for fun. The Chargers and the Cowboys. I'm going to go the Chargers. While the Cowboys look great and they're really highly regarded, Justin Herbert's our secret best friend, and I know Steven's picking the Cowboys, but I really have a good feeling about what the Chargers can do this year, so I'm going Chargers. As that goes, thank you for coming out tonight and watching me play Madden 22, listening to my sports takes. I'm excited for another great week of football. I know Connor's out there. He's safe. He's living his life, being the best that he can be. But please go out there, get some Dowdle's coffee. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. We love our followers. So just give us all that support. And for tonight, I'm Rutledge, and this is Friends Stream Sports. And have a great night.